The vast majority of criminal cases in district court here in Massachusetts are resolved through a plea deal. Now, usually the way this works is the prosecutor will offer a sentence to the defendant that's far more lenient than what the defendant would get if he were to go to trial and lose. And the defendant can get this sentence, most likely, if he simply admits to the charges. Now, every now and then you get a defendant, and this happens almost every day in district court. He wants the plea deal, but he doesn't want to admit to the charges, or he wants to squabble about the charges when you go before the judge. And this almost always results in the plea getting rejected. So if you want a plea deal, the prosecutor will fill out this green form. It's called the green sheet, and he'll give it to the defense counsel. Defense counsel will sit with the defendant, go over it. Now, the defendant can recommend his own sentence or his own terms, put those down on the green sheet. It's then given to the clerk. The clerk calls the case, so the defendant comes forward, and the judge needs to accept the plea. Either the plea is agreed to, or he goes along with the defendant's terms or the prosecutor's terms, or he creates his own terms, whatever it may be. But the judge needs to be satisfied that whatever terms are presented or imposed are reasonable, and that the defendant is tendering the plea knowingly and willingly. So the first thing the judge will do is he will ask the prosecutor to recite the facts of the case. And this basically amounts to the prosecutor summarizing the police report. At this point, the judge will turn to the defendant and he will say, "Do you admit that that's true?" Now, most defendants will just say yes. But every now and then, like I said, you'll have a defendant who wants to have his cake and eat it too. And he'll take this as his opportunity to start arguing with the facts, or he'll make a half-hearted admission, he'll equivocate. And what will happen is the judge will just reject the plea, all right? And then the defendant's baffled why that happened, why didn't it go through? It's because the defendant didn't admit to the facts. So before you tender a plea, you should speak with your lawyer. And what I do is I tell my clients, if you did not do this, then do not go before the court and say you did. All right? But if you want to accept the plea and you want to admit to the facts, then you have to agree when the time comes, when the judge asks you. And if there's anything just over the top wrong or exaggerated, it's okay for the lawyer to try to rectify that a little bit. But the bottom line is you need to admit to the charges in order to get the plea accepted. I've written a blog post on this, and I'll put it in the description below.